This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Take two. I'm joined by dazzling Darren Barker over Zoom. Firstly, Joe Calzaghe interrupted us and then Darren couldn't hear me, but we're here now. Darren, how are you doing?
Not bad. I'm knackered because the kids have run me ragged this weekend. That was what I was, in case you're wondering why I said that, that's what I said on the first take. But anyway, yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all good.
It's good to hear, mate. Obviously, it's a Sunday, there's football on, so I don't want to keep it for too long. But obviously, one of the reasons behind this interview is what has been a very successful stint for your old trainer, Tony Sims, and the stable, the Matchroom gym. Last night, Felix Cash with a brilliant display, stunning stoppage victory against Denzel Bentley. Going back to it and over it, Darren, what did you make of it?
Yeah, it was a great performance. It was a tough fight on paper. We see how well he was against Heffron. And, yeah, I mean, Felix was incredible. You know, he's so ruthless. He's got that traveller blood in him, and he's just he's so exciting, but he's so well schooled. You know, obviously successful amateur, boxed at the Repton, and he's carried that through. And you know, like myself, who was fortunate enough to have done half decent as an amateur, Tony doesn't try to change it too much. Just tweak what you've already got and add to your game. And he's done so well with Felix. And Felix, for me, I don't think he'll hang around British title level. I think Matteo Signani would be a good fight for him for the European title. And then push on for hopefully, you know, world title eliminators and world title shots. I remember Tony saying to me when I turned pro, we'll go Southern Area, British, Commonwealth, European, and then go for world titles. And I really respect Tony and his fighters for following his advice, but going down the traditional route. And though the ranking belts, as many like to call them, the Intercontinental, etc., they're really good to get you in the rankings. It's a lot more prestigious to win a Commonwealth, a British, a Commonwealth, a European. So yeah, hats off to the team. But yeah, Felix going on. He's just getting stronger and stronger, and always learning, and that's what you want from a fighter.
Darren, just to kind of touch on the fight a bit more from last night, he seemed to be in that first round that when Felix did originally catch Denzel, you could see he hurt him. To stop him in the third round, was that a surprise for you? How did you actually anticipate it going before?
Yeah, to be honest, I picked in my bet for Felix to stop him late. But anything can happen in boxing. Obviously, when the first bell goes up until probably the third, fourth round, you have the opportunity to catch your opponent cold. You know, the punches are really fresh and new, and it takes a little while to get used to the shots. And yeah, you can still be stunned in the third round, and that's what happened. It was just a ruthless finish, and you can see what it means to Felix. He's just a handful, and he's a real fighting man. And I know how much he wanted to win the British title to follow in my footsteps. So I know he'll be extremely proud of himself, and so he should be, because he's beaten a good opponent there in very good fashion.
Darren, you said there it would be good for him to look at that European route before looking at world honours. After the fight, we saw him mention Chris Eubank Jr., Liam Williams, what have you. Would one of those names be interesting, especially Liam Williams on the back of the Andrade defeat?
Yeah. That's a very good fight. I'm not sure how Liam Williams would view that fight. Obviously, Liam's going to have to drop down a level or two, but he put in a good performance against Andrade, you know. And I guess if I was Liam Williams, I'd like to think that I could, you know, sort of pave my way into another big fight. So at that stage in Liam's career, I'm not sure if he's willing to drop down to British, European level. I'm not sure. He's got a taste for the big time now, and I don't know if he's going to try his best. But obviously, he's not going to get into a huge fight straight away. So he may think, yeah, that's the next best thing for me. Chris Eubanks Jr., I think, and it's a similar thing for him. I think he's been out the ring, nearly a year and a half. And I think the Morrison fight for him is about getting some rounds and getting in there and getting a taste of fight night again. And I'm sure he will want to get in the likes into bigger fights, like his previous opponent, Matt Korobov. So he's I think the European title would do Felix wonders, because it's something that a lot of fighters want. So it gives you the opportunity to then pick some bigger names out there, or he may have to look at a gatekeeper. I mean, imagine Signani wasn't available, like a Sulecki or someone like that, or I don't know. There's some big opportunities for Felix now, but I just think he's got to keep doing his thing, and people are going to want to watch Felix. That's the beauty of him, because he's very exciting. Not only is he a skilled, polished fighter, he likes to get his opponents out of there, and that's what people want to see. So in the current climate, I think if you're a Felix Cash fighter or supporter, or part of his team, then the future looks very bright.
Darren, just on Tony, and rightly so, we've seen a lot of people giving him credit for...
Oh, shit. I dropped my phone, sorry.
It's all good, mate. Darren, as I was just about to say, with Tony, and rightly so, a lot of people have given him a lot of credit for this recent run of wins that the gym's had. I did an interview with him earlier, and he spoke to me about how he likes to build the personal relationships with the fighters. And he said with Kevin Mitchell, with Felix when he first joined, with Ted, we know in the background, he's had his own problems. They had issues away from boxing, which they'd kind of maybe distract them from concentrating on their careers as much. And he tried to build that personal relationship with them and almost have like a fatherly figure. From your time working with him, can you see that, and can you see where he's coming across by saying
100%. You mentioned football at the top of the interview, and I'll reference something that you hear all the time about football managers and how they are good man managers. And that's what Tony is, though he's got a stable of fighters. He knows his fighters so well, so personal. He's a real, almost like another uncle to all of us. He's somebody that you don't want to let down. Going away from the tactical side of things, that he's a genius, and I don't feel he gets enough credit for his boxing acumen and how knowledgeable he is when it comes to the tactics side of boxing. But as a personal side of things, you just don't want to let him down. I remember going to Malia when I was younger, partying in Malia. But before I went, Tony said, "Look, you've got to fight now in 6 weeks or whatever it was. You can't go." And I hadn't won a title at this point, but I never touched a sip of alcohol from the moment I found out I had a fight. So he said I said to Tony, "Look, I've got a day booked in Malia. What I'll do is I'll go on the Friday. I'll be back in the gym on the Monday, so I'll go for the weekend." And Tony went, "Look, I don't want you drinking out there, blah, blah, blah." And I went, "All right, don't worry, I'll be in the gym Monday." Anyway, it was the World Cup 2006. I got steaming every night. And on the Sunday, I'm supposed to be going home. I see a poster advertising a head candy night. And I went, "Nah, Tony won't mind if I get in the gym Tuesday." Anyway, he rang me on the Monday. He wasn't happy, but I was so gutted I'd let Tony down, and I flew home and I was in the gym Tuesday. But it takes a special person to get me away from my mates, especially in Malia. But that's Tony. He gets the best out of you, and he's certainly doing that with his camp. Look how well they're doing. Look, Martin Ward, I'm so proud of him getting the opportunity to fight on the Devon Haney bill out in Vegas. He deserves it because he's been ranked very high for a long time, and he's looking for that eliminator and the world title shot. So buzzing for Martin Ward. Felix Cash, Ted Cheeseman in Gibraltar, unbelievable. Someone I know, he's Peter Sims fighter, Craig Richards. Conor Ben, how great he looks. They're all, I haven't missed anyone out, have I?
Cordina.
Cordina, sorry, Joe. Sorry, mate. And Joey Cordina. I mean, and I think they're all pulling each other.
John Ryder.
Ryder as well. Like, yeah.
Just do need to stitch you up now, mate.
Yeah. That's the worst thing when you start reeling off names. You're always going to leave someone out, aren't you? I left two out. But yeah, the team as a whole are really, is a saying, success breeds success, and that seems to be the case in Tony's gym. They all want to outdo each other. They all want to win titles. It's an individual sport. You've got to be an animal. You've got to be desperate to be the best, and they all do that, but they all pull each other along. And Tony Sims is that father figure, the brains of the operation.
Moving forwards, Darren, or moving backwards rather, you mentioned Conor Benn. Just want to touch on him and his victory against Sammy Vargas. It was only what's less than a round, but what did you make of it for as long as it lasted, and how much of a statement win was that?
Goes back to what I said. You catch someone cold in the first, couple of rounds. Anything can happen. And I took Conor on the pads back a while back, and his dad. And let me tell you now, he punches as hard as his dad. He punches so hard, like ridiculously hard. I'm not joking. He punches so hard. And he's got the opportunity to do that to absolutely anybody in boxing, because in his weight division, because it's incredible. And I love the way that he commits to the shot, but most importantly, the way he's improved from a raw novice with a handful of amateur fights to this guy that's almost beat, well, I guess you could call Samuel Vargas a gatekeeper of the division. So tremendous victory. And the futures again, like it's like Felix Cash, extremely bright, really is. And it's a shame that Josh Kelly lost, because could you imagine how big that fight would have been at the O2 with fans back in there? I mean, you bang it out. What a great fight that would have been. But look, he'll have options, no doubt. Conor Benn's a huge name, and he attracts big money, so that attracts opponents.
Darren, we know after his fight with Sammy Vargas, he called out Amir Khan, Kell Brook. Your thoughts? Do you think he'd fare well against one of those names?
Yeah. Kell and Khan, it's the inactivity, isn't it? And it's the how much they've achieved. So is the fire still there? What's the reasons for fighting? Both got families, and when you've had a layoff like they have, it's difficult to get up in the morning and shift that weight and train. But what they both do, they generate big money. And Kell, I can't really comment on Kell because I've not seen too much of Kell at the minute talking boxing. But I have Amir, and I know Conor's called out Amir. And if I'm deadly honest, it's a fight I see Conor winning convincingly. I think the first thing that goes on a fighter is their punch resistance, and we've seen with Amir Khan that he struggled with big punchers, Breedis, Prescott, Garcia, to name two. I just think Conor punches too hard for him. I know he's got the ability to be able to outbox Conor. I don't think that would happen. I think it would be a massive scalp for Conor. But I'm dubious to whether Khan would take that fight.
Darren, just want to move forwards and on to next weekend. Obviously, we've got the Katie Taylor Tash Jonas bill. Just your thoughts on a couple of fights from there. Start off with that headline fight.
Yeah, I don't see how it can't be a cracker when I look at it. I just feel Derek brings it, doesn't he? It's incredible that he's on another pay-per-view show. I mean, how long has he been pro for? It's incredible, but he keeps getting on these big bills, and one of the main reasons for that is because he's so exciting. That first bell goes, he gets to the centre ring and he tries to push his opponent back, and I've no doubt we'll see the same of it. Same of it next weekend. Parker didn't look good last time out against Farr. It was a very boring fight. But he's teamed up with Andi Lee. He's been in camp with Fury. And I just feel spirits will be high, confidence will be high. He's the younger, fresher out of the two. And I feel it's Parker's to lose. If I was to put it in my bet, I'd put Parker points, I think. But you never know with Dell. You never know. What do you make of,
obviously, sorry, Darren, I was just going to say, what do you make of Joseph Parker linking up with Andi Lee and Derek with Buddy McGirt?
Great move. It must have been hard for him leaving Barry. Kevin
Barry, yeah.
Kevin Barry, yeah. But sometimes you need to change. You need to freshen things up. He was with him a long time, and I think he just felt he needed a new sort of needed to steer his career into a different direction and get help from somebody else. And Andi Lee, tremendous fighter, looks like he's really developing as a coach. And I just felt when I heard that it seemed like a good fit. So I'm really intrigued. I mean, they haven't had long to work with each other, but I'm intrigued to see if there will be many differences on show on Saturday night. Katie Taylor-Jonas is a really exciting fight. I think we see how good Jonas looks against Harper. She weathered a storm at times and really dangerous, and almost had Terry out there a couple of times. So she's gonna be looking for revenge from the Olympics in 2012. We broke it down, me and Chris Lloyd, for DAZN the other day, and I don't feel she should get greedy against Katie Taylor. I think, keep the output low but high quality. So ones, twos, but quite often she throws a beautiful lead left arm out the south, left shot out the southpaw stance. She takes the head off centre line. So I think she'll be trying to pick singles and doubles, but keeping with Katie Taylor for 10-2s at her pace is tough, But will the two fights against Pursoon have taken anything out of her? I don't know, but it's a brilliant fight. Craig Richards versus Bivol. I mean, it don't get much tougher for Richards, does it? But Craig has this awkward style, underrated power that you just never know. So I'll be cheering Craig on, but it's a tough ask. But yeah, looking forward to getting to Manchester. I'll be up there Wednesday, driving people mad, making them jump, pranking them. But yeah, another show to look forward to. And then the following week, what a cracker we got. Sorry, my phone telling me my battery's low. I got 20%, I think. Then we've got one of the biggest fights, or certainly one of the biggest fights of the year. Billy Joe versus Canelo. He's got it all to do, Billy Joe. He'll start the fight 6 rounds down, no doubt. So it's a real difficult one. But Billy has this unbelievable mental strength, this real self-belief. And we know Billy, though he can be guilty of dropping levels when he feels he's a far superior fighter, he does have the opportunity the first 6 rounds against Eubank Jr. to box very, very well. Don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing Eubank to Canelo and vice versa. But when the pressure's on, I feel we get the best out of Billy, and he's going to have to box out of his skin. Hope that Canelo has an off night and the judges play fair. But I can't wait for it.
Just a couple of things away from the fights coming up. I want to get your thoughts on one of them being the talks about Matchroom. Sorry, mate. It'll be a couple of quick ones. Matchroom DAZN talks in the UK. Talks about them two linking up to broadcast for shows. Just your thoughts on that, and obviously where that could leave Sky, and obviously with the brilliant work they've done for boxing over the years.
Yeah, it surprised me. No one knew other than people very close to Eddie. I don't even know if they did, but he kept his cards close to his chest. It's sad for Sky. I've been involved and I've met a lot of great people. I met my wife actually through Sky, and they've played a great part. Going back to the big fights with Ian Dark and Glenn McCrory, how brilliant were they? Lennox Lewis, Nazim, all of these fighters, and they've been tremendous. They'll still stay involved with the box office shows with Dillian White and AJ. And to be honest, the Sky box office are incredible. I know we have to pay, but the production itself are never a letdown. But DAZN, the new players, I've been lucky enough to work with DAZN, and they're real good people. They're very passionate about the sport. When you speak to the personnel, the individuals, they live and breathe it. And it's nice when you've got boxing people getting involved in boxing. And it's certainly going to freshen things up. So I guess, it's a good thing.
And final thing, Darren, before I let you rest your arm, the talks of your old charge, a very good friend of yours, Dave Allen, looking to make his return to the ring. Just your thoughts on it?
I texted Dave yesterday, and I'll keep that between us. Look, do you know what? I don't like. He has his reasons. I'll say that. But I'm worried. I'm nervous, and I've asked him not to. But he's got to do what he's got to do. Dave Allen's his own man. We've seen that time and time again. I just I don't want him to get hurt, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't worried. And I've tried, but he's one tough motherfucker, and he's doing it for reasons I don't really want to talk about. But anyway, look, he's I mean, I've told him, I'm here, pick up if you need to talk, you want any advice, pick up the phone. So I just want him to stay safe, be looked after. If anyone's watching this, he's going to be looking after Dave. You know, I'm not sure who's going to be training him or who's going to be managing him or who's going to be promoting him, but I just hope he gets looked after.
Darren, we will leave it there now. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Time. You can put your arm down now. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.